from underneath. A lot of that being focused on Poyo. Then a whole nother team, a third party. Agers and Hammy also putting pressure from up above. Veno head on a swivel, making sure nobody can make any sneaky plays. As Jinx, he separates himself just a little bit too far from Poyo. He's going to be the first one that gets dropped in this fight.
Veno realized that he needed to take out the real threat of the duo between Jinxie and Poyo. Hey, look, he's got one for the opening. He said he only had 84 damage. Now he knows what it's like to simulate that full 200 clear.
Almost would have get a sneaky shot onto Poyo. Jinxie's right back in, and this is where they do have the luxury on the side of Veno and Ron, knowing at least one of the players here has nothing to his name. Maybe he has a more fight assault rifle, an SMG, and a couple of minis, but outside of that, there's going to be nothing in the inventory for Jinxie to utilize, and they're even here in the minis. Veno, the king of lurking around, just trying to pick and choose his options here.
But Veno may be also cognizant of the fact that, hey, we did just see a whole different duo. We don't want to get caught out in the open and find ourselves actually becoming victims of a third-party scenario, because we've seen how many times has a single mammoth pistol shot or even the hunting rifle just immediately been able to shut down a key opportunity, and that's something that Veno and Ron are trying to avoid. They know that they are public enemy #1 right now in this lobby, and Pete just waiting in the wings right now. Whether or not he recognizes that that's Veno and Ron is still left to be unsaid, but at the same time, he's just holding teams at bay that are trying to make their approach into the edge zone.
Yeah, it's very, very important, especially with Peterbot nearby, that Veno and Ron do not go down. They do have the chance, you know, getting rebooted, we've seen it, getting back into the game, but as soon as people know it's you, they'll see all that information in the feed. They'll just go straight on over the fresh reboot player as Peterbot gets the full box onto Paige, sending her right back to the reboot. Luckily for her, Bolts is still alive, and Bolts kind of playing into that strategy. You know, he apologized. A lot of his quick moving does get Paige eliminated due to bad positioning, but it's for the greater good.
And I think what you can appreciate too about Primate Paige is that she's taking it in stride. She's not frowning upon Bolts' strategy. She's fully accepting the fact that, like, hey, if I've got to be the standout component here where players are going to look at me instead of you, fine. Because what that means is Paige and Bolts still on that first page of the leaderboard. And I think that that is a position that not many people would have taken this duo for at the start of today's competition.
I can agree with that 100%. Pulling off a big surprise here. Veno and Rod, though, they don't want to travel on foot if they don't have to. There's a lot of launch pads around the map in the Elite Strongholds map, and it's those extra long launch pads. If you mix it with the Fids, you mix it with the Shockwave Grenade, you go further, you go farther, and that's the tool in the tool belt right now for Veno and Ron to make sure that they go underneath the radar, or in that case, over it, so teams don't get a lick of information about where they're at.
Victor V and Crackley, though, 5 eliminations in total. They are definitely staying on the same pacing that we have witnessed from this duo in the previous 3 lobbies, but now it's about conversion factors. You need to make sure that you are finding a top 3 placement if you really want to play catch up to where first place is at. There was about 110 points separating them heading into this lobby, and it's not going to be easy because you are also dependent on someone eliminating Veno and Ron along the way. You don't want to allow them to keep building up all of those placement points that they've been seemingly gathering no problem the past couple of lobbies this past 2 victory rounds.
Narrowly missing that hunting rifle shot. Muda missing a couple shots as well, which you allow for Hammy to touch 10 toes down, reunite in the same box with Agers, but you see Rapid lurking around, trying to play sneaky. Him a typical gamer so far. When it comes to their success, it's early game eliminations mixed with some consistency to get their placement on the overall leaderboard. Ash Owl continues to struggle. We are now moving into the 6th zone, so one more zone, Taco, before reboots turn off and all these eliminations finally start to count.
A little bit of a tussle here. Wondering if maybe TG and Rapid are trying to potentially fight for that loot pile that was just 1 box ahead of them, but it's just not really worth risking their current position. They're not going to continue to try and press the issue against Agers and Hammy, but this is also a match where we're actually getting to see glimpses of Hammy in a standing tall position. Hopefully that's not going to be the caster curse opportunity for him, but like to see like the signs of life really starting to kick in here.
Yeah, you can see now Raw Dog Moon and Sphinx. Yeah, sometimes you just take down a pro player like Ritual, and you start to think, maybe I can do this. Look at like the little injury that could. I think I can. I think I can. Sometimes it just starts with that mental confidence. But you see on the outskirts, Puga and Peterbot, Faxity and Yugi now enter into the mix as well. Instead of just clashing, they're just trying to let the dust settle. They know the potential. You see third-party shots start to move in, especially if they're stuck on the edge of the zone.
Puga knows better. He's not trying to take this direct matchup with Peterbot and Faxity. He's just trying to have a slightly established position, a little bit of elevation to work with, but they're in zone. That's what matters most right now, and he'll have an opportunity to kind of check out, see where the rest of the lobby is starting to rotate through. Gonna go ahead and also drop that pizza, just carry the slices with him. No real reason to try and delay that any longer, as Higgs and Braden also seemingly on a stronger stance in this lobby. 4 eliminations for Higgs. He's definitely got the ball rolling.
Yeah, now he's finding some extra crash pads, so he has mobility, which is a huge tool in the tool belt. But even though Braden is still alive, you can see that they're not working together. Higgs is in the front side of the drone. Braden is trying to play catch up. There's a lot of information being passed around right now to try to go ahead and allow for Braden to rotate swiftly on over and reunite with Higgs on the other side. But it looks like he has things of his own. Goes for alert play, ends up in the box. Big shots being fired, but 2v1. He needs some help. He needs a way out. And with 1 HP, Taco, he finds it.
1 HP in a dream right now for Higgs, but it could quickly turn into a nightmare scenario because he's trying to see, where can I escape? Where can I break through? But that duo, they know he's incredibly weak, and yet they don't chase him. That says so much about what the focal point is currently for so many of our teams. They're all just so dedicated to not being some of the first out of this competition. They know reboots are disabled. They're trying to hold on for dear life.
Yeah, they just don't want to get too greedy when sometimes you might have to. As you see pressure coming in from below. Veno and Ron feeling a little bit of that. That's Puga and Yugi down below trying to catch him off guard. But they have their head 360 degrees, watching all around so they cannot get caught off guard. No matter what direction that pressure comes from, they are ready and waiting. And even now, you can kind of see, or at least in this view, nobody has really solidified themselves as the high ground team.
Bolt's maybe a little bit of the pseudo height factor. He's parked down decent enough tunnel, claimed enough space to maybe make other duos in the lobby believe that that's a strong duo holding tall, and with the way that he's connecting shots, Hammy, I'm sorry to say, you are victim number 1 from this POV of Bolts, but will he be able to actually make it to the body? Doesn't necessarily need the material just yet, but it just always helps.
I just realized right now, Bolts and Prime and Page are both still alive, but they are nowhere near each other. Hey, you just cover more ground, maybe get more loot, and I might have cursed her right there because Yusuf actually picks up the knock and elimination onto Page. That was Curve and Yusuf that you saw getting aggressive onto Higgs. He's surviving with 1 HP, and they're probably just trying to take it one foot in front of the other. Don't get greedy because that can lead to your team going down overall. We've already seen it so far today.
And Curve knows he's ready to administer some alley-oops there to his teammate Yusuf. Just see how far they'll actually be able to make it in this 4th lobby. But Ron, Veno, starting to make their approach. Looking back, Ron, a little bit quick on the trigger finger there, but that just tells you he's aware. He's ready for anyone to come his direction, even if it's his teammate.
Yep, anybody can get these hands for the first time today, though. It does look like Kanata has been eliminated outside of placement points, unless Arky is still alive, of course, but 16 teams remain. One more does need to go down before it starts to play a role and the points start to add up as Pollo kind of losing tracks of Jinxie for a moment. He has no shockwaves in order to make it back up. He does have the build, but he's getting flanked right now by Higgs, who's rushing forward closer and closer, reloading at the worst possible time. That could be Higgs, who catches him off guard, leaving Pollo all by himself. Too quick for Jinxie to catch up, but for some reason, I feel calm, cool, and collected with Pollo being by himself.
It's a tough break for Jinxie. He's doing his best to try and reunite with Pollo, but sometimes that's just how the lobby breaks down right in front of you. Reed doing a great job now establishing that frontside low alongside Frantic, but they might actually have to deal with Curve and Yusuf in a few moments' notice. Meanwhile, Ron, Veno, what they've done so well, where they have really excelled, has just been staying out of the thick of the action. And right now, it's all down to whether or not Victor V and Frackley can actually be successful in their opening strategy. Take height. But there's still other parts to it.
Yeah, they landed at Chisel Cubes, and Victor V said it himself, like, hey, we're just going to go hide and see what happens. And right now, they're seeing it all play out. Nobody really having a chance to look up, including Reek and Fran, where they were able to pick up one elimination there and get some of that loot, trying to keep themselves looking strong, and they have their focus on Higgs, the backside of the zone. No shots actually connected, so Higgs doing a good job of handling that pressure well.
Crackly and Victor V, though, looking very established right now. A little bit of a chop, but it's not going to be one that affects them. They're just going to keep tapping on the Blueberry Fizz, though. Try and make sure they prevent themselves from succumbing to fall damage. Peterbot and Faxity fully eliminated, though, and the placement points are starting to cause a little bit of an overbearing issue here, but still a few more lobbies left to work with. Right now, it's all about whether or not Spinks can get the job done as a solo.
Yeah, Lacey doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He was the one that took down Peterbot, sent him all the way back to the lobby, so we still have first place alive, second place in this game. Higgs is trying to get themselves up the leaderboard, but only 9 builds left. Bandages, Fizz, literally working with the bare minimum in terms of an overall loadout, especially you got to realize there's a team above, below, all around. Clicks and Lacey doing the same thing, but it's Yusuf that is getting a lot of that pressure along with Curve.
But Clicks and Lacey, they want to stay too distracted. They still want to make sure that they maintain a little bit of leverage. If you're forced to layer swap at this point, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually contend with the team on height. And Clicks, Lacey, maybe recognizing the fact we just got to deal with the teams underneath us or on our layer first before we worry about what's going on at the high ground. Crackly and Victor V are having the time of their lives currently, though. But when you see the wood builds start getting busted out, you know that that's a duo that's hurting for some materials. Clicks, great refresh onto Spinks. That's going to buy them a huge lifeline for builds.
Yeah, even Lacey just trying to go in and get some of those materials from a fallen player. Even if it wasn't his, he's still trying to make these moments count because you see they're almost down on E. And luckily for Victor V and Crackley, we're not going over recycled builds. So all the players down below, they have to build outward, expend that material. You even see a med kit being passed around, probably a just in case, but Veno has just been knocked down. Not sure if Ron is still alive, but this is the golden opportunity for Clicks and Lacey to play catch up.
Good moment of Siphon there kicking in for Clicks. His Curve will also follow suit. Clicks, Lacey, they are really starting to heat up in game 4 here. 7 eliminations already. Let's see if they can add more to the count. They're going to need every single little bit of placement points and eliminations they can get. Artie Moon just narrowly avoids it, but Muda can't say the same for him. Clicks finding yet another elimination here.
Yeah, Acorn drawing out the time outside of the zone, just trying to stay alive, squeak in the top 2. Lacey's gonna go down. Victor V put down the pain. Him versus Clicks. 1v1 scenario. Victor V gets the wipe. Acorn is finally joining into the party. It might be too late, but damage has been done by both Crackley and Victor V. This is potentially doable, but a bad crash pad sends Acorn packing. Victor V did what he said he was going to do. Take height and win the next game.
And look, we know what usually follows after the take height half of the sentence, but it was really just the truth. Right now for Victor V and Crackley, they were able to establish on the high ground. They kind of let those lower layers sort of duke it out with each other, cleared things out. They did a great job at suppressing teams, forcing them to drop to ultimate low. So it was just very difficult for anybody to even consider trying to challenge them on the high ground.
Yeah, just coming into this one when we saw the leaderboard, they were keeping up with Veno Ron. 26 eliminations for each duo. It's the placement points that really made the difference. Now that they got the win, Levin, let's see what their plan is for the next game.
All right. Before the game started, I came to you guys and I said, what's the strategy going to be? Vic, you said it was height. Crackley, looks like it worked.
Yeah, he did it all. I was just up there, just shooting and listening.
I mean, you spoke it into existence. You seemed to believe it from the moment the game started. What was the difference maker in this one?
Difference, bro. I just had to realize I have the best content creator on my team. Could basically be a pro. I have the best IGL duo Queasy right now, so obviously I'm going to know the secret little high takes, you know. Go high, don't die. I've obviously learned that from him, so.
Well, look, spoiler alert, your day is going a lot better than Queasy so far. What's the key to making this stick, though? How is this going to continue?
I mean, we just got to be as consistent as we were, you know. We were getting it like 10th, 9th, 8th. We just got to make it first, second, third, you know. Just keep on threes.
Crackley, he's been hyping up your abilities. I mean, now after you've played 4 games now, do you feel like you can keep up with all of the pros in this lobby?
I did kill Rise twice that game.
And Rise is doing good as well.
He killed Victor. I got his get back.
And then you got the win. Not too shabby from these two. New strategies here in the second half of the competition. And so far, the new strategies are working. Taco, Jacob, what do you think of that?
I'm loving it, Taco. Sometimes all you need is that break. We saw it at the Summit Land where Peterbot and Pollo had that resurgence. You just need a moment to just refresh, think about what's going wrong or what's going right, and try to replicate that success.
It can definitely be revitalizing, especially towards the mental. And that clearly seems to be the case for Victor V and Crackley because they recognize the fact, look, we're not doing poorly when it comes to getting those eliminations. What we're struggling with is just finding our consistency metrics for the actual placement points. But for that to come into effect, I do think they did just a great job building up on the high ground, not letting anybody else challenge them for it, and then the rest of the lobby also just kind of eating itself alive.
Yeah, it just seemed like everybody in this game, for some reason, was a little bit hesitant. I've never cheered on. I'm not biased to anybody other than Jinxie in this tournament. I feel like, hey, it still counts. That's still an elimination on the board for Kanata getting that one on the coop. This is the first game today, though, that Kanata has not placed inside of the top 5. So, again, the halfway point of the tournament has officially been here, and you're seeing a lot of teams make those adjustments.
And they're going to have to keep following suit with making sure that the adjustments that are actually working out stay in place. And that's going to be the difficult factor because we've seen players, I think Higgs had an incredible run in this fourth lobby. He was definitely able to rack up a few points for himself and Breeden. Not only that, but he's just so wiggly with the movement.
Sliding in and out of these covers to stay alive. 1 HP in a dream. Those points definitely start to have to add up. And you got Veno and Ron, another big game for Veno and Ron. So even though you have Victor V and Crackley winning it all, trying to go ahead and take out that point deficit that they're currently facing, and it's a big one with how well Veno and Ron have been playing so far, but somebody needs to start to take them out early. Even if Veno and Ron slow down in the elimination category, they still have that placement point cushion.
But if Victor V and Crackley are able to find their second victory royale, you've already experienced, you got a taste. You opened up the doorway to understanding what it's going to take to win a lobby. You've also got the bonus feature. I can't stress it enough, just knowing that you're netting that extra 1K per lobby that you win, it's always going to be a heavy encouragement factor to our competitors here today. And Vic and Crackley, they seem like they're putting the whole lobby on notice now that they're going to be the new rising stars in this lobby.
Yeah, 11 eliminations in that game. If math does me right, 26-11, they have 37 eliminations. And I almost want to say they have the most eliminations in the tournament so far. But let's go ahead and get that confirmed with the leaderboard itself. Where is Victor V and Crackley with eliminations? Yes, 37, and they kind of closed the gap. I say kind of because it's still about 49 points.
They're not the only ones, though. Lacey and Clicks as well in that third place position, 220 points. What I'm really noticing, Jacob, is that top 3 is really starting to break away from everybody else underneath them, but still very impressive stuff out of Crackley and Victor V, Ron and Veno, Lacey, Clicks. I think our top 5 right now is definitely about to try and throw somebody for a loop.
Yeah, there's only 3 games left, and I'm just trying to think, what do you need to do? And I can kind of see it right now. Crackley, Victor V, Lazy Clicks, they're so close to each other on the leaderboard. Even if they do try to contest to win the entire tournament against a team like Veno and Ron and they go down, they're just going to fall down that leaderboard. So that's the risk versus reward scenario a lot of these teams really have to be cognizant of, and if they're willing to make a move like that. And I think for Victor V and Crackley, maybe potentially we could see it happen, but if they can continue to have pop-up performances, 11 elimination victory rounds, they won't need to.
Hey, I feel like Bolts is putting Spudson on the spot right now, though. Not even just him, but I think the entirety of the Fortnite community, when you're talking about a top 8, a top 10 even, Jacob.
Yeah.
Bolts is just very consistently ensuring that they claw their way up the leaderboard. And you have to remember that the pricing differentials that really start to take place when you are already inside of this top 10, those narrow gaps, they just become so much more feasible to attain. And it's got to be encouraging seeing your points go up and your rank with it.
Yeah, it's just inside of that top 10, as you were saying, it's just money each and every placement. So you reach that first place, $10,000. You know, I just need to know who's going to win this tournament so I know who to be friends with after this. But, you know, Nina and Ritual, 11th place. They're on the cusp of hitting inside of that top 10, which is more money at the end of the day. You had Sphinx and RD Moon, who actually showed up pretty big. But a team, honestly, Rapid and Typical Gamer. Almost has me wondering, like, what's kind of going wrong? We saw a lot of early game success in the first half of the tournament, but since then, it almost seems like they fizzled out.
A little bit too split off from each other at the start.
Okay.
I do think that it is a viable strategy that has been working for some of our duos here today, but it really looks like when one of them gets too isolated, too pinpointed, I respect the Typical Gamer even try and, you know, dish it out just as much as they're being aggressed on, but like, at the same time, I want to see them play more in unison with each other because they're both such strong competitors individually. I think one thing that is happening for sure in this lobby is that when a strong player gets eliminated, they are immediately being focused by everybody else. And so it's making the recovery element just that much more difficult.
Yeah, I think we're seeing it. Outside of maybe like Victor V in the early game, if you look at like Veno and Ron, you know, early game they do send Veno to get those eliminations, and then they spend the rest of the game hip to hip. Crackly, Victor V doing the same thing. Clicks and Lacey doing the same thing. At a certain point in the game, because they're so high up on the leaderboard and they built themselves that cushion, they have a little bit more freedom and flexibility over the game plan versus everybody else. And I think you mentioned like top 5, top 6 was that huge point gap. The only way they could close it is with eliminations and like top 3s. And yes, you can go ahead and give that a try, but for a team with like inside of the top 3 that has no pressure, just sit in a box, chill, win your tournament.
I do have to make one special note to that though, because in that post-game interview, we heard Victor V being like, hey, you know, we got to get first, second, third. No, there is no second or third for you, Vic, okay? We know Pops is not going to allow that type of mentality. We are only seeking victory royales from this point on.
Yeah, he's already cashed in $1,000 for them after that last game, and a boost of confidence, which is the biggest thing. And there was a moment where Veno and Ron, especially after coming up back-to-back to victory royales, they went down early. But it was early in comparison to winning the game. I think it was still inside of the top 5, maybe top 6. So you have to figure out a way to get them out so that way you don't have to, you know, end the game with 20 eliminations, which we've seen players with 11, but you can see how hard that is in itself.
It's just tough when you're trying to keep tabs on everybody and everything that's also kind of shifting around you because there's that little bit of desperation, I think, that is really going to start flaring up in these next couple of lobbies because we're reaching the beginning of the end, right? We've got Game 5 on the horizon, and with that in mind, so many of these players are kind of recognizing the fact that if I don't want to be on that second page of the leaderboard, I've got to step into overdrive right now.
Just like this right now. You see Muzz, you see Pete, you see Veno and Ron, they are trying to take down first place already. Veno's just trying to disengage out of this. Even Reet is here, so 4 different teams landing here, trying to take down first place. Peterbot's not sure where Faxity is at, but he's just trying to fight tooth and nail to make sure he stays alive here in this game. But Veno, I'm not sure where Ron is at, if he's trying to figure out a way to reunite. But right now, they're probably doing a good job at surviving.
Man. And Veno could just see what we witnessed, though. Muzz on the other end of things. I think Veno and Ron have the right idea, though. They're just going very aggressive with the approach now. Veno's still under a little bit of pressure here, but the elimination wipe just means siphon a little bit more material to work with, and you can see already how injured Peterbot is, but he'll also take the opportunity to try and heal back up.
See Veno, just slow approach. Even with the elimination on the Muzz, he cracks the shield onto Peterbot, getting him drop down to about 20 HP. Box gets stolen, can't get the wrap in, as Peterbot is able to escape out the sidewall. No help coming for either one of these guys. It's going to be a straight 1v1. Ron just making sure to stay alive as the just in case. Peterbot's going to fall, but luckily Faxity knows his job. They are uncontested, so it's going to take no time getting Peterbot back into the game.
This is no surprise to Veno. He was completely expecting to be challenged at some point. He knew that as long as him and Ron are in the lead, someone's going to look to threaten that. And all I can think about, too, is just the NAC FNCS. What did Veno do best? He just outsmarted Pete's winning strategy of challenging the team in first. And I think that Veno, he's just no foreigner to this. And that's going to be tough scenes right now for Rapid. He also gets eliminated by Coop.
Yeah, Coop just jumping into the box, quickly getting that elimination. Cooper and Zemi, a lot of people looked at them as one of the teams that could take it on. They've been doing good inside of the top 10. They have moments of greatness, but I think now they realize with such few games left, if we want to close the gap, if we want to win, we need to start getting aggressive. And I think that's what Cooper's on the hunt for, trying to get more eliminations, which in turn turns to more points. Trying to move up the leaderboard. Nina going down underneath. Poyo's looking like he's going on a hunt, but probably realized the fight has already settled, so it'd be too much of a risk to just run straight into a 1v2.
I do think part of the problem that started to unfold for more experienced duos like Cooper and Zemi is that in comparison to last year's FNCS Pro Am, there's just so many more elements of surprise in this lobby. Jinxie doing what he can, trying to stay alive. Victor V, though, zero intentions of letting that one go. It's a reboot cycle. Whether or not we'll actually be able to wait it out for Poyo. He's trying to create some space, get his duo back up and running. But going back to that initial message there, Jacob, I just think that things aren't as foretold as last FNCS Pro Am because you don't know what some of these other creators are going to do. You can't read their minds because they're playing a different kind of Fortnite to you.
Yeah, especially if you're with one of the Crick Pro players that are just too fast for, honestly, even their own good at times. It's Reet and Fran just trying to make sure they both get back together. Trying to scare Booga off, who was trying to go for what seemed like a free elimination here, but it might have been the opposite. He might be the free elimination here that Reet and Fran are trying to go after to try to close that gap. They get that first wall, cut down options, forcing Booga to make more space on the other side.
Solid delay, though, right now from Booga's Yugi. He is just booking it. He is trying to get out of town since yesterday, and it's just not going to be enough. Frantic finds him, cuts him off immediately, and now that's just going to leave Booga stuck in a very difficult position because there is another team quickly making their approach to where all of this noise is taking place. And, well, for Booga, he's going to have a tough time working his way out of this one.
I feel bad for Yugi because they're putting pressure on Booga. Had no choice but to kind of sit there, and he's like, all right, you want to sit there and hide, Booga? We're just going to go after your teammate. They're at the edge of zone. Yugi, you had to have seen that one coming, but at least he got the pressure off of Booga. That's going to be the biggest thing, allowing for him to stay alive. As Reek going after Nina. Again, looking for these free eliminations, trying to catch players off guard. There's only a sliver of HP still on Nina, and I'm not sure if she has anything to get that HP back up other than the hopeful elimination here onto Reek for the siphon.
Oh, but disaster has struck right now for Reek. Even though Nina is not healthy enough to really tackle this exchange, Reek losing Frantic is still going to be a pretty big slowdown because now he's got to play a little bit of that recovery tour for his duo. But it doesn't seem to be deterring Reek's aggression. He is still on the hunt for more eliminations.
Literally just the two different sides of this coin in this game. Teams being hunted outside of the zone, just trying to stay alive, hoping the focus gets off of them. And you got Jinxie and Poyo. Did enough up until this point. Boxed up here. The biggest worry for me is not necessarily the material and the loadout onto Poyo, but Jinxie doesn't have much. So he gets caught out and gets sprayed. It'll be so long that he has to protect himself.
But at least you know he's not dropping anything phenomenal for the players that are eliminating him. It could be worse. He could have, you know, the exotic hunting rifle, stink rifle.
Oh!
Probably, but Victor V and
Yikes! That was nasty. I mean, the one on Nina was like regular, but he really just dropped Ritual
He was on
off,
timing.
man. He said, don't worry about the battle bus. I'll take you home. Send him right back to the lobby. And now they get back at their POI. They got a lot of extra gold because of those eliminations. They got the vending machine they can use to themselves. This is literally a perfect early game for Crackley and Victor V as we see Curve and Yusuf go back to the lobby as well.
a little bit of a 180 here in perspectives. But Poyo doing his best job so far to try and reestablish, rebuild some of the downfalls of the early game there, of just dealing with the whole trying to stop Jinxie from just getting completely farmed in the reboot measures. But P and Faxity, I almost wish that we could have just like the listen in of what some of these endgame comms might be sounding like between these two, because I do think that it's been a little bit more volatile than what they would have initially anticipated. And part of that is definitely credited towards Clix and Lacey.
Yeah, and I also think, you know, the last year's Pro-Am was, wouldn't call it the very first, but it was very early in Reload's life cycle. You know, I don't think people have figured out the little intricacies at that time, and now I think people have taken it a full mile and like stretched it even further about what they're able to actually do, the elimination hunting, the timing of everything. So I especially since the game mode changed where you can actually get a loadout off of getting dropped. But Cooper Zemi looking like they're aggressive on the one. Reet and Fran getting aggressive across the map on Buga and Yugi as well. He lands the shot from over the top, but it wasn't a heavy hitter like he was hoping for. But he's being persistent, trying to get the side angle. Buga's distracted. He gets the edit onto Yugi, taking him down, but luckily for Buga, he's still alive.
This is a lot of eliminations, though, currently for Reed and Frantic, so they are definitely trying to kick it up a notch here in Game 5. Wait and see whether or not Buga can stay alive long enough for Yugi to be brought back into the action, but still has a couple more zones to work with before reboots are completely disabled, so that is a little bit of a silver lining here for the Lion and his teammate Yugi. But for Frantic and Reed, plenty of medkits to utilize, decent amounts of mobility. They're committed to just getting as many elimination points as they can fathom against the likes of Buga and Yugi.
Yeah, they kind of have options here. Put pressure on the Buga or hope Yugi comes back here fresh off the respawn. But right now, they're choosing the first of the two options, trying to put pressure on the Buga. But he does such a good job of fighting back. Not necessarily landing haymakers, but enough damage to scare off Frantic and Reet and make them second-guess this decision. But they got to be careful. They've run into Kanata and Arky just lurking on the end of the Peerless Pier.
But now that's put Frantic and Reed into a little bit of a difficult position here. You can see now it's just all about the retreat factor. They don't want to stick around. They realize you don't want to be stuck between two separate teams. Even if Buga is working as a solo primarily, it still makes a big difference. You never know when a solo can just pack a punch and then shut it down.
Thanks for the follow, yo. Thanks for the follow.
Takes this one well-placed shot to really make that difference. It's Kanata. Arky using the launch pad at the pier. Arky actually seeing the toe, spots him out, misses the shot, but hits a full pump on the second. Arky is down, but good thing for him. Kanata saved the day. That was actually a good spot from Arky to realize that somebody was actually inside. If he would have hit that one pump that he missed, man, that would have just been a full celebration for Arky. And right now it's looking a little bit different than some of the other games where we've seen this team have success from Kanata and being a solo. This time they're doing it together.
With staying accurate off the assault rifle, that made the difference there. It was the sole reason he was able to find that initial knock. It felt like Kanata was trying to let Arky have one. I can't hide it on that.
I respect it though, honestly. That like when you're playing a game and you realize your teammate just has a donut, sometimes you just gotta throw him a bone, man. And I like that because imagine the hype and the confidence going into the rest of the day if he was actually able to pull that one off. But no loss.
Yo, did Peter Butt and Fax already get took out? Oh no, I see them dropping people. They just dropped Adrian.
Dog Moon doing the same thing, but most of their rotation is going to be
of course Zemi dropped
without
Somerset.
a single player facing them until they reach that line of zone. That's where you have 1, 2 teams
Yo,
already
Bubby,
positioned
if
in
you
the
in here,
potential.
say something.
Sphinx also
Say something.
just trying to see whether or not you don't want to be caught at the base of the mountain face, especially when the zones
should
are
have
full. There's
TTS.
more often than not going to have to be some form of commitment towards the high
Oh, my
ground,
shit.
and
I
a
don't know
lot
how
of
to do
times you'll
that
see
on here.
players, especially ones like Sphinx who are experienced, looking to put themselves halfway up so they can go either way, ultimate high, ultimate low. You know, not everything in the game is farmable.
Yeah, and luckily for a lot of these teams, you're talking about like high ground, and especially where the zone was at, where it was literally 50-50, half on the mountain, half underneath. Most of the zone right now is pulling on over to flat land, giving them a little bit of alleviated pressure of having to kind of build up, expend your materials to get up the side of the mountain. You still want to stay away from that ultimate low ground. That's where things can happen in the blink of an eye, and your game can get twist turned upside down. The top 16, one player going down, placement points start to set in.
crucial moments right now, though, for Veno and Ron. The last thing that they want is an early departure in the second half of today's competition. They need every single lobby that they can get because Victor V and Crackley, they were not joking about the heat up factor. They are looking at 9 eliminations already. And again, Crackley said it. I have Vic as my IDL, but with the way that he's playing, he's basically both.
Where is Peterbot?
Right now, he's just in the moat. Smiling waves,
Oh, I see them up on
just
the hill
smiling
halfway.
waves. Let Victor V do his thing, and I'm just kind of here
V.
celebrating. And for Victor V, 8 eliminations, like you said. He does have the more fight gold pump, so he has been just kind of dominating around the lobby. Somerset, this is one of those reboot loadouts I was talking to you about. She gets in before the reboots actually turn off. She gets that assault rifle. She gets the tac, probably using the splashes already along with minis. And if they got an elimination, you can see why they're stacked up here, or as stacked as you could be in a situation like this.
Rough shotgun to have to get up close and personal with, though. She is really going to have to depend on sort of approaching separate lines of sight with Muzz. We've seen them do it before, though, in Game 1, where they had the premiere of their success debut. I think that Somerset and Muzz are for sure capable of bouncing back from this position and getting some stronger loadouts if they can just find 1 or 2 good eliminations, even if it means playing through those lower layers. The main thing is just going to be not
Jinxie and
burning
Poyo,
through all of your materials.
Poyo got
on
height.
height.
Yeah, speaking about teams on hot, Poyo
No
and
way,
Jinxie somehow find themselves on high ground for now. Sphinx takes down Arky, leaving Kanata by himself. But I feel like sometimes, especially in a tournament like this, being by yourself is a little bit of a blessing. You don't have to worry about your teammate, and you just have the freedom of flexibility knowing as long as I keep myself alive, we are good. But Jinxie, honestly, this scares me just a little bit, seeing Jinxie on high ground.
When I'm proving
It's kosher. Poyo's got it covered. Poyo probably has the fizz. If anything, he's got the overdrive grenades. It's just something to keep them on
There's
top
no
of their
way
A
they're
game.
up here
and
on
Poyo,
height.
very likely
Jinxie
just
don't
telling
know what
Jinxie,
he's doing.
look up. Because Poyo can handle suppressing those lower layers. He can handle applying pressure down beneath. First, he's got to see whether or not somebody is actually going to wind up taking out Booga. Doesn't have a whole lot left to work with, but everybody just focused on making their way forward to the left side zone.
Yeah, you got to be careful though. Crackley, Victor V, they're making their way up layer by layer. Now they're even looking at the high ground, testing a chop at the height. He said, I learned from Queasy. That's his IGL for this FNCS. Take height. Don't look back. And right now they've chopped out Jinxie and Poyo. They had the Flowberry Fizz, so no fall damage or scares just yet, but they immediately set their eyes on high ground once again. Poyo starts to build back up, especially now more than ever that Victor V and Crackler have taken the attention from the lobby.
And not only that, but Crackley, Victor V, they're going to have to start fighting with the rest of this lobby. For a moment, they were caught on the backside of zone because they had committed towards that height chop, so it did put them just a little bit further behind where everybody else was moving towards. Poyo going to drop, though. Big shot just doesn't net him the knock he wanted. Peterbot, though, finds Somerset underneath it all. 5 eliminations now for Vax and Pete, and they have got to really find their momentum in this lobby if they want to try and bounce back on that leaderboard.
Yeah, no choice but to use the zone in their favor. It opens up on the other side. Shockwave through, but Peterbot burns through the rest of his materials, and now he's getting focused out, jumping around like a fish out of water, just trying to survive, forced to dig deep into his pocket. Shockwave's up, repositioned, but he is still going through it here. He runs into Acorn on the other side. Solo versus solo. Acorn does go down. Peterbot is able to clean up that elimination, but how far can he stretch it? Not far at all before he's taken down by arch nemesis Clicks and Lacey.
You would think that Lacey and Clicks have a homing beacon on Peterbot's head at this stage because they just keep finding him as Victor V eliminating Coop. That is going to be a huge setback, and not only that, but now 10 eliminations. Victor V has actually harnessed double digits as a solo, and he has 0 intentions of slowing down. It doesn't matter if they don't have high ground, because from this front side low position, they're gonna force height to drop straight to them. They know that this is their fight to win.
Even Jinxie's kind of following suit, and I don't see first place anywhere in this lobby still alive, so Victor V and Crackley, this could be a big game, but Poyo, surprise attack coming from above. Jinxie goes down to get the elimination onto Fred, his second elimination of this tournament. And if he could try to clean that one up, that could be loot for Poyo to use. He has no choice but to drop down low. Clicks doing the same thing. Lacey trying to hold their high ground. This is 3 different duos all clashing here for the final game.
And not only that, but Poyo looking to take out Victor V, and he's got it. A big knock. This This is where you really got to dig deep here. But Pollo, he's not new to this. He's been here before. The Siphon going to kick in now from that knock body. All of that excess material. Clicks, Lacey, will they be able to shut Pollo down? The 1 versus 2, where he really starts to surface, where he really starts to showcase his strength. But Lacey still left. Pollo just barely any HP remains. He has to be flawless with this next shot. And he gets it! Lacey, no problem whatsoever. It's only Pollo versus Clicks. A very steep health advantage, but an advantage all the same. But Pollo doesn't care. It doesn't matter what you think, because Pollo is always looking to come out on top when it's the 1 versus 2 scenario. Just one more overdrive. The cutoff was great, but the shot isn't going to be enough here.
Clicks got it there.
Finally shuts
that was a
him down.
bittersweet fight right there. I was rooting for both sides for real. I really wanted Pollo to win that shit though. Clutch
in my house, he shuts down Pollo and he gets the victory royale. And through the course of that game, I'm not sure when Veno and Ron actually went down. That was the perfect recipe for success. Because even though Victor V and Crackley didn't win, guess what, Taco? They are closing the gap.
And not only that, but a huge moment as well, because you have to remember, for Jinxie and Pollo, that second place is still going to be a little bit of money factor. Correct me in, but hey, big scenes. We've got Levin right there with it.
What a game that was, man. Finally, you got it done. Game 1. You tried to go for height, couldn't hold on to it. This time, things go your way, you're able to win the game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's all Lacey. At the end of the day, if he didn't shockwave up when I asked him to shockwave up, we wouldn't have got that height. The thing is, a lot of these players, they have shit teammates. Poop teammates. Apologize. Big poop teammates, right? My teammate, he's a tier 1 professional. He is a tier 1 professional. He has earnings. He has $100,000 earned. He's a GOAT.
A lot of people don't respect you like you are a tier 1 professional, Lacey. I feel like you're proving them wrong today.
I'm gonna be honest. Clicks gave me a lot of credit, so I also have to give myself credit. I'm playing phenomenal, carrying Clicks right now, putting up a lot of kills on the board, shockwaving on height. If it wasn't for me, I don't think we'd be in this position.
How many kills do you have that game?
A lot.
We had 6.
We? Or you?
Well, this is the only game where he had no kills. No, you had 0. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, shit.
You didn't have it. It's fine. All that matters is you got the dub. What is going to be the key to this success continuing now for you guys?
Consistency. Consistency is key.
But how do you stay consistent?
I'm consistent with everything in my life. The way I wake up, my diet, going to the gym, getting on. Consistency is key, and that's just how I was born and raised.
I'll tell you the real truth. It's consistency, but it's going to be Peterbot. Peterbot's going to be a winner, our winner factor, because he's in a W key. Veno, he's in W key. Ron, he's in W key. Jinxie, you're going to put him down.
I mean, Pete's right next to you. I mean, you can say something to him if you want right now.
Oh, is that the leaderboard?
Yeah, that's Peterbot. Yeah.
Oh my
that's
God.
why he's saying it.
Oh, it's close, Levon.
Yeah, what's it looking at the top there?
I'm third with 298. Second is 298 with Veno, and Victor V is first with 318.
Well, you said Pete's going to be a factor. I don't see him up there with you lot.
The thing is about Peter, he's going to come in shadows. There's 2 games left, and I'm not first, so nothing I should worry about.
Knowing him as well probably doesn't help that he can actually just look at your screen as well when you're winning.
Yeah, he can look at my screen whenever you want.
Yeah,
not a good shot.
Peter can drop 2 fucking 15 bombs and win it back to back, and he'll be in first place.
Talk to me then.
Stop playing with him.
Right, that game, it was a
don't piss him off.
It was a donut for you.
That's really what it comes down to.
What would you rate your overall performance?
Actually, it doesn't matter.
That's my
it doesn't
whole thing.
matter.
If Peter
we won. What's there to be happy about? You think I'm happy?
He feels like he
There's
has
nothing to be happy about. Job's not finished.
He's just gonna grief people and land on them on purpose.
The job's not finished. Jacob, Taco, what do you make of this game?
Lose. And most people don't play like that during
But as what Lacey said, job's not done. I know Lacey likes to have fun and have his clippable moments, but I feel like that is the truest thing, especially with how close the leaderboard is.
It's just, I'm speechless.
And Fact City's good, but he's not good enough for shit like this, bro.
I really thought, Jacob,
he's not.
I was so convinced.
Not ready
the
for
moment
this
that Lacey was eliminated there, the moment the Siphon ticked in for Pollo, this is it. Pollo's doing it
No, that's Lacey. Fact City's one's playing with Peterbot. That's why Peterbot's not doing shit.
That is a huge
because he got to fucking clutch every match by himself because Fact City is dog.
New Clicks. This is a new Clicks for this season. You know, new teammate in Rapid, a whole new confidence going into it.
He's a good content
I feel like
creator.
one of his best friends,
For
Lacey,
Fortnite
the familiarity
players,
from the last Pro Am. I feel like, you know, he's playing with a I'll say a different type of pressure, almost no pressure at all, because, you know, in that last major, with, you know, him and Higgs, even into the Summit Land, I feel like they unfairly put an immense amount of pressure onto themselves. Then now you come into the summer break, he was kind of roster mania, and now I feel like, you know, him with Rapid, I feel like this is going to make a good duo. My confidence is showing here with Lacey. They just have all steam, all going, all ahead.
I think it really helps too, just knowing what kind of friendship that Clix and Lacey have, both on and off the camera. I think that Lacey is just the epitome of a perfect teammate for this kind of competitive environment for Clix. And not only that, but you've really got to give so much credit towards Clix and what he's able to accomplish when it comes to even the FNCS environment, because people really underestimate the type of pressure that Ro is constantly under. And the fact that he's still able to deliver constant entertainment, the fact that he's still able to deliver a very strong competitive nature, I would not be surprised to see Clix really just start to hit that bounce back.
Yep, and there's only 2 games left, and obviously I don't know the exact leaderboard, but I know Clix was looking about it, talking about how close it actually is, top 3 teams, and it just goes to show, you know, one mistake at this stage of the game, one mistake could cost you that $10,000 first place.
You know what's really still like kind of sticking out though is not even just like Pete's like body language and his like facial expression, but Clix really knows how to like twist the dagger. Because where Pete's gonna be a little bit more like up in your face about it and like just really reminding you, hey, like I'm beating you right now. Clix is just a lot more subtle. He's just like, ooh, you know, top 3. Oh wow, we're tied right now for second place. Oh, but I'm not first though. You know, it's just like it's the little twist of the dagger there.
Yeah, it's almost like you're hearing it from the woodworks. He didn't say it to Pete exactly. Obviously, the second time he made a little bit more mention towards his direction, but that first time it was like Pete's going to be the difference. And it wasn't that Pete was going to, you know, win the entire tournament or he was going to take down Pete. She thinks Pete is going to try to make a little bit of a comeback, and that means Pete's going to key around the lobby and hopefully make it easier
now
for
he's going to
him.
get very, very frisky.
Worry about Victor V and Carackly. Victor V, I don't know what happened during that break, but Victor V woke up. I don't know if his mom popped, because I know they're both with him this weekend.
It's probably his dad. His dad don't play
system,
that
everything
shit.
he needs. This guy is coming out of his shell in terms of
Show
interviews.
these motherfuckers.
I said this kid was the next up, and I know for weeks before it happened, I said Victor V Queasy. I want to see it happen. Get him a good IGL. It happened, and we're seeing a new version of the King of NOS.
His dad annoys the fuck out of me, but like, that's how you're supposed to be with your son. Don't let none of these young punks out here fuck with your son just because they got more money than him and they're pros. His son's coming up. His son's about to be fucking better than y'all, better than all these pros, and that's what he's showing them.
On lock. What we need to do is start transferring our elims into solid placements.
Peter Fax is in 7th, bro. Hey, don't count Peter Bot out. Stop it.
The halfway point of that game 3 break, it's been like a
sitting at 10th the whole time.
Yeah, look at the leaderboard right now. Crackly and Victor
Poyo
V,
was in 16th, like what, 2 games ago? Now he's in 9th. Jinxie is following orders, and it's working.
Veno got 9 eliminations. Crackly and Victor V got 24
Lacey and Clix passed Ron and
eliminations,
Veno.
a victory royale, another top placing finish, and that's going to put him ahead by 20 points over a tie.
This is getting crazy. I didn't even put Zemi and Cooper on my
that might
vote.
also start to pull away some of
But
that
you could always put other
pressure that Ron and Veno have been dealing with in these past couple of lobbies, because we saw it even in that last game. Peterbot, Muzz, both trying to challenge Ron and Veno, play that big disruption factor, not allow them the opportunity. They were going for the full duo elimination. They just couldn't actually find it.
With a global champion. Not a lot of people can say they're global champion.
Enough of a restriction for
a lot of people can say they won an FNCS. Not a lot of people can say they won FNCS globals. That's a whole bigger scale. Like,
and try to punish players that
I think there's only like 3 people, 2 or 3 people that can say that, right?
Kind of seen before that page.
And it's
I think it was like 9th place or so. Jinxie and Poyo
and
sometimes the
Queasy.
first elimination is the hardest. He got his second one. They made it so far into that end game as well.
Well, Queasy and his teammates. I forget who Queasy's teammates were.
Glad to see that. But second page here, you see Bolts kind of having a little bit of a slower pace for the second half of the tournament. But this is where it's really actually kind of stacked up in terms of where the points are at.
And this is also where you start to see a little bit more of the disparity in terms of the prize pool distribution, because even if you're on this second page, realistically, first place probably out of the question.
Damn, Hicks dropped all the way to 19th. They was talking all that shit. That's what happened.
Not only that, but there's always the individual lobby prizing. $1,000
Damn,
first,
Booga.
500 for second, 200 for that third place finish. So little tidbits
He's good, but he's not up there with
these
these motherfuckers, bro.
Lot kind of break down. That's what Taco was
trying,
talking about.
but
$1,000 first place. You kind of looked at that leaderboard, you know, with Victor being Brackley made a quick 1,000. You know, Veno and Ron got two of those. Muzz and Somerset, they got one of them. So already you're seeing players lock in some of that money before the tournament is even over. And honestly, I just want to see how it continues to shake out. 2 games left, stacked leaderboard, $10,000 for first place. There's a $3,000 drop off, and then another $2,500.
No, this is leaderboard.
You can look at it however you want, but I'm pretty sure some of these competitors, you know, instead of being happy for second place, seventh, they're like, man, I just lost 3K.
Exactly, and not only that, but you can also see the little bits of jumps that really start to take place between top 5 or even 6th through 9th.
Yeah, well, top 9 and on, you get 1,000.
That first
so if you win the matches,
finding yourself in 10th place, it's nice, but you're still tied with 11 places prizing, technically speaking. So you want to find every single secret component that you could possibly try to factor in to really pull out the stops here.
Yeah, especially you kind of look at like second and third place, Clicks, Lacey, kind of tied with Veno and Ron. And even if it stands with the same amount of points, it's going to have to go to a tiebreaker. Nonetheless, to try to figure out where these players actually stand on the leaderboard. So it's kind of like you're alluding to, there's something to fight for, not only in every single one of those games, the game pricing, but there's still plenty of opportunity to jump up that leaderboard. If not for first, you know the difference between what, 20th place, $600 there into 14th place. So I think anything.
See, this is the shit I'm talking about. And then everyone I play Fortnite with is like, oh, it's just Fortnite. It's not just fucking Fortnite. These, look at these motherfuckers. Some of them don't even play Fortnite, and they're up there playing with pros for money.
Finding your first, you know, halfway there, but there's still 2 lobbies remaining. There's still a chance that Veno and Ron are able to just not have to play so defensive early on. Love the screenshot pose on the streams there for Sphinx and Artie Moon. We haven't gotten a chance to see a whole lot interview-wise from this duo, other than, you know, some segments from Levin, but I think that they put 2 personalities in the right spot with each other.
I agree with that 100%. Speaks to somebody that personally I love to have
a
conversation
game started?
with the guy.
Look, they're all loading into the same match, it looks like.
Mechanics in the game, the overall meta, he's very, very well spoken, and it just seems like he's enjoying his time every single time. 10 seconds before they drop in, they're having fun in front of the camera. But here it is, game number 6.
Oh, you see that llama? You see that llama over there? Look at that. I can see it from here.
NCS Pro Am champion.
There's a llama bottom right. Look at that llama down there.
Big scenes currently for everybody here. UTD campus
I have a lander right on. What do you
up
say?
as well with some of the fans. I like seeing some of that outsider footage, but frantic. Oh, the trouble here.
Yeah, I don't have my face up either, so it's probably like a big turn off.
Veno, even with them being on the ropes,
Oh,
even with
people
them
are like,
having to
don't want to
scramble
watch that.
backwards,
I could just watch it on
still
YouTube.
unable to just solidify the knock.
Yep, Veno and Ron this time around changing up their drop spot. They have teams contesting up towards the north side of the map in that last game, and like, hey, if we're going to get contested, let's try to get something out of it, but they're not necessarily in the best spot. Both of them still left alive, but 72 effective shield and HP for Veno, and even less for Ron on the other side. He tries to look for a little bit more loot, but you can see that Ron's not even here, so they can't even attempt to help each other if things get bad.
And the fact of the matter is that Peterbot was still able to gauge exactly
Look,
where
he
they
did.
were headed. Or maybe
that motherfucker went to elite. He don't even go to elite. He's doing it. He's doing it. He's keying people. Shit that he don't even have to do.
But Pete, you know he loves a good scrap. Don't want to bite up more than he can chew, though. Is Acorn continuing to fight back, and the collapse.
It don't matter. He's gonna have Faxity hiding while he fucking.
For a second, but it was rapid out of nowhere, sidelining that fight.
Look, he found the llama. Breeze found it.
was going to say staying away from all the action.
Big dude,
Bolt's
big dude,
probably seeing the
the
mama
glasses.
there. Knows what he was
Found
going
that
after. Used that shockwave, trying to disengage. It's
I
a
seen
lot
that
of damage
motherfucker off
onto
rip.
Bolts. Even a Mammoth connecting out of Somerset.
Somerset's chasing. Don't do that, bro.
But Bolt's using
Yep,
shockwaves and a lot of tools
not.
in his tool belt. Instantly finds a way on out. And there's tunnels underneath there, Taco, so they're not going to be able to catch up to him.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Somerset. It was a great shot. It was some good damage application, but unfortunately, Overdrive
Clicks
Grenade
just
is
took
going to
out
beat
Kanata
Grappler every
in.
single time for
What?
mobility. So, Clicks just picking up the scraps, some leftover pieces. Looks like he was able to get a little fraggy with it. One duo has been fully eliminated.
Veno.
Who's going to be next up? That is also another consistent component that we've seen throughout all
Veno
6
got
lobbies from the
dropped.
day, Jacob.
That's
Someone
crazy.
is
By
always
Rapid.
eliminated.
That's
before
crazy as
we
fuck.
enter the
Victor
second
V
zone.
got dropped.
Yeah, a huge difference from what we typically see in that reload. Elite Series qualifiers, where honestly placement points didn't set in until 10th zone. 11th zone is sometimes the final 12th zone, so a little bit difference here, but that just goes to show how quick a lot of the action is playing out here. Saw Queasy go
This
down to
cat
Chris, Ash out,
is
trying to stay alive,
hiding.
buy some time. Ash out
Yeah.
himself, even going through a rebite. You see
Shoot,
AR in
bro.
hand. This is where it just gets interesting for Queasy. Typically, you want to see kind of Queasy being the one with the full loadout, staying alive. He gets
Got
spotted
him.
out. This is
Got
the
you.
worst
That's what happens when you're a
scenario.
bitch,
Ash
bro.
is down. Queasy's getting chased. They are both sent back to the lobby.
It's just, I feel so bad for Ash.
Peter
because
Bot
he
just
spent so
dropped
much
Muzz.
time
That's what I'm
hiding
talking about,
and
baby.
Avoiding
Fuck that
Clix's
bitch.
POV just to step out and it caught in 4K. Could not
Fran
let
landed
this
on a
go
whole
to let that
team. She
opportunity
ain't
slip
scared of none of
by.
that.
Arky now.
Oh, no,
getting
she got
punished
rebooted.
for it though. That little bit of separation means that Kanata is going to be left to try and fend for himself, but it's a spot that he's accepted and
Kanata's
embraced in
deep
this
in this
competition.
Yeah, and you're kind of seeing the two different strides of a lot of the teams that are getting aggressive, though. Reed and Fran working in unison to try to find their eliminations. We saw Peter Bot, the likes of Bolts, trying to separate and use their solo prowess to try to get
dropped
these
Agers.
eliminations. Agers going
Of course
down.
he did.
Buddha getting found out by Rapid again. We know how close they were.
He's going for
moments ago.
Booga.
Even Peter Bot getting an elimination here.
Peter Bot is
Frantic
farming
elite, though.
Muzz, bro.
Fully
Am I
aware of
seeing
the
this
fact
right?
that, hey, if Arky keeps rebooting here, Kanata's got to be close by somewhere. He can't really risk trying to challenge both of them. I think Reed and Frantic have done an excellent job whenever one
Clicks
gets
and
into a
Lacey
spot
are
of trouble or
doing the
starts to key,
thing, bro.
the other is very
I kinda
quick to
hope they
follow.
win
That's
in a
just
way.
a little bit of that.
Because,
I
like,
think chemistry,
Clicks is being humble
synergy,
about it, too, and it's
they've
kind
got
of making me
pretty
feel
established
bad
here.
because I've never seen
Curve
Clicks
also looking to get
humble.
active.
It's
For you,
weird.
he just not
I've
really
never
knows what
seen
to
Clicks
do.
humble.
Yeah, they're just going after it. You know,
Fax
you get
drop,
eliminated
Somerset,
once.
Peter Bot finished
Reboot
her.
It's a giant rift
Oh,
in the sky.
shit.
It's so hard
They
to
are
miss in terms of
keying
visuals, but
everyone.
even harder to miss in terms of the
Let's
actual
go.
sound. So it's very, very easy to spot out anybody.
Let's
rebooting
go. You
through
hear me,
Venom.
Bubby? Let's fucking
The
go.
play is going to be onto
Fax
Poyo and Jinxie.
and
So
Peter.
just going for points here, not necessarily a heavy hit.
I really don't like Ron and Veno. I hope they
could be a
lose.
really big
Come on,
compromise, though,
Jinxie.
if it goes
Jinxie,
south.
someone get on
Even a
Jinxie's
split
stream and
second
tell
here.
him Veno's
It's still
creeping.
Polio. And Jinxie, I think he's got a lot of fighting spirit in him. But
Yeah,
later on,
yeah, Jinxie,
they've
come
been
on.
spotted out. Veno immediately gonna start to talk things out a little bit here. Separate angles of attack, but
Come
Veno
on,
still
Polio.
looking to get the
Oh my
advantage.
god, he
Jinxie from
shit on
overhead.
Jinxie.
Very
Instantly
little time
shit
to
on
react
Jinxie,
there.
bro.
Takes a lot of damage.
Venom playing with the pre-edits here, taking a lot of the space.
Oh
Jinxie
my
gets found
god,
out,
he
simply trying
shit
to
on
heal. They're into the
Jinxie,
zone,
bro.
early damage
Oh my
from Venom.
god.
Really shifting this fight, really putting him on the back foot. Now Poyo's feeling that
He did that on
same
purpose.
pressure.
You're a
Ron
bitch,
trying to
bro.
put it
You
down.
ain't pushing
Venom just trying to
Polio
get
like that,
some
though?
feel. Probably calling
'Cause
him
you
off
know what
here
the
for a
fuck it
moment.
is.
Poyo knows this is one and only opportunity here to really start to get aggressive and take a 1v1 while he can.
At the end of the day, though, Pollo still have to remember, able to net at least that $500.
Yo,
for
Nino, get the
himself
fuck off
and
the game,
Jinxie's
Nino.
Ritual, great
He was on your phone the
shutdown
entire time
on the
before the
Hemi.
fucking match started.
Just a little bit of siphon materials, and whatever else
Of course,
he can
Veno
build
drops
while
Peter
he
Bot.
waits for Nina
And
to
in
come
fact,
back
you better
into the
not die,
action.
you fat
But
bitch.
Ron and Veno, they definitely wanted so much more from that little aggressive instance up against the likes of Pollo and Jinxie, and they might be able to find it, but they might also be drawing the attention that they don't want. Saw Faxi in the distance, lurking.
Come on,
That
Polio.
means
Drop
people nearby
this
too.
motherfucker,
I
bro.
believe they just got the elimination.
Ooh,
on
let's
the
go,
speed was the
Polio.
one looking around, but now
Stop
going
playing
up
with
against
him.
Polio on the other side. That's a big shot that's going to hit. I don't know, sure if they can clean that one up, but Hammy splats down. That's one of the most unfortunate things that can happen. You splat, you survive with 1 HP, and then you start rolling down the mountain, and Ritual's like, yo, what is that?
To be fair, it helped Jinxie in the last lobby. We saw the splat. We didn't get a chance to highlight it because there was a lot more happening in that circumstance, but it actually kept them alive just a little bit longer.
He's still fighting Pollo? Bro, you ain't doing him like that.
Oh,
you can keep trying, bro.
On out. Really
you can keep trying, bro.
Up to Veno and Ron. Do they want to continue to go on a chase
Pussy
here?
Boy.
One well-placed mammoth shot to end that run either way. They're going to let him escape, which means Jinxie is going to have a chance to get back in this game.
Dead again. She can't even fucking land. She's getting the Ali A treatment. Was the one
who got taken down by Ritual, so it only is going to be a 1-for-1 trade on each side.
Kind of ridiculous, though, to think that Agers is operating with 8 eliminations already.
Peterbot,
very
back on Veno. Let's go, Peter. Let's go.
Aggressive eliminations. Peterbot.
There goes Ron. You made him mad. You made him mad, Veno. You're dead next, pussy. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Him and Ron have been all series long.
Here it comes.
And if Veno goes down right now,
dude, it's inevitable. He's like Thanos, bro.
Everything he can to try and fight back. The last person he wants to be eliminated by is Peterbot, and he might be able to control his own destiny here.
He might be. He might take out Peter right here.
Yeah, you don't get much HP out of that pizza. It's only getting 10 total.
He fucking did.
Veno breaks into the box. Not only surviving long enough for Ron to get back
that
into the
motherfucker,
game, but
he said he's Thanos. I'm fucking Iron Man.
Peterbot, and that gives Ron a chance. If he goes directly to where Veno's out, he gets a full loadout.
Peter's full on keying, and Fax isn't helping.
You can see no shield. Hamley's trying to be a little bit of a distraction, but Nina not letting up off the gas.
Fax died too. I think they're out.
Needs a chance to try and
I'm pretty sure that means Peterbot and them are out.
Instead, he'll just go for the outright fight.
Yeah, I think they're out.
Nina now means
I think they just got knocked out.
For Agers and
fuck, bro.
Hammy just trying to
this
make sure that
Fax
is backup support Agers.
Bro.
He sees what his duo is doing. He's not trying to interrupt.
Hey, you just see a chase action all around the map. Fifth zone about to fully open here. Going to start to close soon. So 2 more zones before reboots officially turn off. And that's what a lot of these teams are using, that advantage. Even get the knock on the typical gamer, literally on the edge of the zone. I saw it at the last second on the mini-map. One more hop would have got typical gamer all the way there. But Cooper going to get credit for that one, and now it's going to get a huge signal when he reboots back into the sky about where he wants to go next.
Was definitely brave, though, from Cooper and Zemi, because they're playing as solos. They are both separated, looking for separate engagements, trying to rack up whatever eliminations they can find. But
it fucked them.
It did.
He needed to take his time with that shit, but he didn't.
Even with that little bit of assistance to the
you know, Peter, I told you, if he feels like that shit is tanking, he's gonna full-on key everyone.
It's never easy.
And it can either make you or break you, because that's 50-50.
Actually dropping yet again. Hopefully he was able to give some of that loot on over to Peterbot before that became a possibility. But either way, you can see the aggression turning the table for some. But the brakes on others is Muzz accidentally jumping, but seemingly almost his demise there for a moment. I believe that's Agers and Hammy on the other side. Down below is going to be Somerset. Could be an opportunity to put pressure, catch him off guard, even deny a healing opportunity onto Agers. And this is where she starts knocking on the door. Hammy just a little bit too slow. He gets cracked, but he lands a big shot himself to try to slow down the aggression from Somerset and Muzz.
That was definitely enough, though, because Somerset and Muzz, they're going to have to fall back. It's just not really worth compromising their current position on the leaderboard. If they can find the elimination, awesome, but if not, might just need to let that one fizzle out on its own way. It's Frantic, Reed, starting to see a little bit of an overhead. Small clip face just to elevate ever so slightly, but the pacing, it's just non-stop, back and forth currently for some of these duos, and I think Frantic and Reed, well, they've got 5 eliminations. They're
wait, Peterbot is still alive?
Way better loadouts.
Yeah, this is where
what the fuck?
With everybody else
I thought he died.
To take a different approach in terms of how they're
Because Veno dropped him, and then Faxity died like right
chance
after.
to get back into this game. If you did reboot in this last zone though, before they turned off, you have a little bit of a
Faxity's
loadout
down
being
there.
granted.
Peterbot's alive.
Especially, I think the most important thing is the minis and the chug jugs that you are going to be able to grant.
I was kind of sad for a
trying
second.
to rotate through, almost gets taken the shield off from Victor V and Crackly.
Peterbot is still alive.
Zone here,
What
Taco, where Victor V and Crackly, it's at their POI essentially.
Fucking menace, man.
Still not easy. Even if you're familiar with the territory, nothing is ever guaranteed. As Pete and Faxity, they have really just been going through a lot of different obstacles, so many hurdles still standing between them and a decent placement positioning in this lobby. On the other hand, though, Rise, take a note of what's in his inventory.
Because Fax is all the way up on the hill. Dude, what is he doing,
I don't know which Epic Dev gave him that chest, but he has the Sentinel, which adds an extra effect. He has the Slapberry Fizz, which heals HP and shields. Guapo getting caught on that rotation, out of builds. And this is where you can see Rise just trying to toy with the decision. How do I approach this? Getting the revive, that's going to be step number one. But how much resources you give on over? It's actually getting elimination on the Ritual. Poyo, Jinxie trying to climb up the side of the mountain. But if you look, the first team to try to make some sense of high ground is going to be Muzz and Somerset.
But again, maintaining height has definitely been a little bit of a difficult task as the matches draw on later and later.
So there's still 17 teams alive. That means Peterbot and Faxity's still alive then. Yeah, he is. Faxity's still alive.
Veno and Ron fairly isolated from where the rest of the lobby is at.
Oh my god, he went
We're at the
down.
close distance here, but nowhere near as much as everybody else on this next pool.
Yeah, but somehow use that to find a knock on Raw Dog Moon. Probably rotating with the crash pad or Shockwave getting caught out of the sky. And that's when you see players kind of not necessarily trying to one-hop the front side of the zone. Sometimes you got to stop, reassess the situation, continue to move from there. Reet and Fran just looking at all angles.
It's because Peterbot pushed by himself.
This is where he's gathering all that
he thought
information.
Faxity was going to help, but Faxity's dumbass was up on the hill not doing shit. Came in there late as hell. You seen it. You seen him jump in as soon as Peterbot died. He tried to get away. That shit didn't work, bro.
Got to be careful, but if I'm Curve, I might be the one shaking a little bit here. 6 eliminations already for Mr. CEO, and he's trying to see just how much further he can take it. Another elimination or two and a solid placement, that could be the difference between first or second entirely, but they are still going to have to contend with Victor V and Crackly, who are still kicking in this lobby. Not only that, but Veno, Ron,
Clicks is still alive, dropping shit.
Reet and Frantic, though, starting to really mix things up. They want the high ground.
Yeah, and I think Veno as well, along with Ron. They keep looking up, trying to assess the situation. For now, they're just going to settle with the front side of the zone, give a lot more time to formulate some sort of strategy if they do want to take it. Clicks and Lacey know for it as well. But the struggles come in as Veno barely lets somebody escape outside of his box. Talk about Clicks with 6 elimination. He is taking charge with 6 eliminations of his own as well.
It's looking like the best day ever right now for Ronda. 2 Victory Royales as is, and a duo that has been very difficult to kind of stop in their tracks, but oh, just as I say it, Ron caught off guard. They were trying to set up for the next rotation, but it's Curve who's really just pulling the rug out from underneath them. Now Veno left as a solo with only 5 builds. He's going to need to come up big time with a good connection shot.
Yeah, he needs that HP, and he's toying with the decision because it only gives you 5 with 30 shields. Do I use it now? It is going to be the bare minimum. Even if I get through all 7 slices, I'm still going to be missing a chunk of everything. But
so
now when he gets cracked
on.
shields in there, instantly pops half of that pizza. Rise going down.
Yeah.
Veno needs this clutch here. It's only top 8. Not even half of the placement points have been given out in the game so far.
But it's going to be cut short
with 13
here.
teams
Bolt's
left.
going to be the one to do it to him. And now Reet, Frantic. This might be their best opportunity to get Victor out because Victor V and Crackly fall at the same time. But Lacey, Clicks, they're still in this. This is where they could really choose to overtake.
Yeah, not only looking to break the tie with Veno and Rob, but try to take first place. No builds left though for Lacey.
down.
Up in a 1v1 against Semi. It instantly goes down. That's a lot of pressure here on the Clicks.
Down.
One of 2
Around like a
running
nut.
around this
You don't
lobby.
wanna die?
With no build, this is where it's quickly becoming a nightmare, especially with Reet and Frantic looking down from above, not wanting to give him any inches to play with, but he finds a mile on the Semi. That's a big elimination. Needs
And
the
he
side,
died.
doesn't
Reet
get
fucking
it in
killed
time.
him.
I'm not sure the points even counted.
don't think that he would have been able to net them in the last second here. Just wiped out before he gets the chance to really cement that last elimination there. Placement still solid, though. They still managed to beat out everyone else that was contending for the top 3. So Frantic, Reet, now's your time to shine. Coop might still have enough left in the tank to overthrow. Their material count is incredibly thin, but Cooper setting it to high ground. Frantic incredibly low. Reet sliding down the mountain face here. This is getting dicey.
Almost canceled the med kit. Meanwhile, Cooper gets the drop onto 1. Cooper has 2 different med kits. Reet only has 1. If this goes to a heal off, this is Cooper's win, depending on how much sickness there actually is, as Reet gets the med kit canceled. Beam the HP gone. The shield as well. Cooper and Zemi with 12 eliminations steal away that game.
You have to remember that Cooper and Zemi were some very clear-cut favorites.
I just said that too. I said Zemi in what, 19th? That's crazy. And then he just said, all right, I'll win one.
Here in Game 6, one more lobby just like this one, and we are looking at a very different leaderboard.
Honestly, I don't even know who is in first. We saw Victor V Crackley go down. Veno trying to make a comeback, had eliminations, but went down to Clicks and Lacey, who eventually went down shortly after. But Levin, I need to hear what these guys are talking about.
Reet and Friend, who were sitting right there. And so, you know, this one's quite close to home. How are you feeling after that game?
I'm feeling good. That 1v2 at the end was crazy clutch. You know, the shockwave up, shockwaving him off. It was just light work after that, you know what I mean?
What's it like, Zemi, when you're watching your teammate in this situation? Obviously, you guys have a lot of experience playing with each other. I'm sure you've seen him, you know, win games as well in the past. Are you just sitting back comfy knowing that he can get the job done?
Exactly. I mean, for me, it's just there's no stress. It's just entertaining mode. I'm watching him. I know what he's capable of, and he just does things that I could only wish I could do, man.
We're getting to the back end of the tournament, right? Just one game remaining. You needed that win to really sort of give yourselves that boost towards the end of things. What are you looking at now for this last game? What needs to go right for you here?
I mean, honestly, just do the same thing. All the bad games we've had has been just completely out of our control, and you know we're doing everything right. You know, so I have no stress. We're gonna do that again, and hopefully win it.
Of course, like I mentioned, you guys have played with each other. You played with each other in the FNCS Pro Am last year. Do you guys feel like you've improved as a duo, right? You obviously don't play with each other every week, right? But you feel like it's better this time around than last time?
I mean, it feels kind of similar to last time. Zemi's just literally the perfect player for me. He just follows me, understands good vibes, just listens. Everything's good. Overall, we have improved. I think this meta is better because, you know, there's a mammoth that we're getting every game, and he loves that gun. So overall, I mean, I think we're working better together. Everything's flowing properly, and it's better than last year. I think we can still win. So yeah, I believe in it.
A big game, and it's going to impact the standings quite a bit. Jacob, Taco, break that one down for us.
Oh yeah, because they just dropped like what,
like
70
these guys
points.
were not joking in the slightest. Cooper and Zemi have really hit the nail on the head because one more big game just like this one, another 12 eliminations and a victory royale, and they are staring down the face of potentially being the ones in that first place position, challenging everyone else. It's been all eyes on Lacey Clicks, Crackley and Victor V, Veno and Ron, and yet just when you least expect
what the fuck are we
Coop
talking about?
and Zemi
You're yapping.
just found a
Show the
whole
standings.
new fire lit underneath them, and they are really doing everything in their power to try and just ensure that they put themselves in the best position possible to
Can
win
we
it
see
all.
if they
I
can?
just don't think that you can count anybody out at this stage.
Well, how do
It
we
is
know
so
if you're not
fair
showing
to
us?
say that we are looking at a lot of teams on level standings
shit on
here
Peter Butler,
currently
that's
because
crazy.
we've seen all the victory rounds that have been gathered, and if anything, it's always just such a huge boost in how you're feeling overall when you know I've already netted $1,000 just off of this victory royale. So Cooper, Zemi, ready to see what you got in the last lobby.
Hey, sometimes that $1,000 in itself, I know if I won a game that got dead last after the tournament, at least I cashed in on something. But honestly, I feel like, you know, even talking to Booga, you know, it's just one of those situations where you don't want to leave your teammate out to dry, but you also don't want to play the game out as a solo. So I feel like a lot of these players are playing with that same mind games.
It is interesting, though, because you do have that mentality from, I think, the majority of our pros, but then you've also got the other side of the coin where Bolts, for example, and then Primate Page have established it from the get-go. Bolts is like, look, You're going to be left out there. Like, good luck to you. I'll send you back in with a little bit of materials. Here's the loadout. Here's where you can try to go next. But if we aren't next to each other, it's fine. I still got you. And he's delivering, and he's not the only one. I think that Kanata, this was such a standout moment from Cooper. He really could not have played this better. It's just so unfortunate for Frantic and Reet that they ran out of all their builds.
Yeah, it's just one of those moments there, but like just seeing it from a different point of view. You literally said it. You could not have played that any more perfect than Cooper just did, kind of solidifying 10 eliminations by himself, 12 for the overall team. And we have
typical gamer and Rapid just jumped to 7. Peterbot fell to 9.
The last game of the day.
Oh, it's going to be absolute mayhem in this last
Look, 28 eliminations. It's because Peterbot got to dumb himself down because he can't keep 2 people at the same time. And Faxity is never fucking there. What are you doing, bro?
No one is going to be at their established drop. At least, I don't think that they can safely do so.
That's crazy.
Because
Zemi and
someone's
Cooper
going
was
to
low, I
look to
thought.
throw their name
Now they're
into the hat and cause some problems here. I know Peterbot has definitely been an agent of chaos for the lobby so far, but you never know. 197 points, 4th place currently. Maybe a little bit out of reach, but how many times have we seen Pete really dig deep in his bag and pull out like a 20 elimination win? I'm not gonna throw it out the window just yet for him and Fax.
You know, my mom always taught me, just kind of watch what you say in certain moments, right? Read the room, watch what you say. And Lacey said something. He said a lot of stuff, actually. But he said something, right? Lacey said, my only goal is to make sure Peterbot doesn't win. Clicks was like, yo, we got nothing to worry about because we're not in first place. Game 7. Lacey, hopefully your words don't turn to be delicious and you have to eat them at the end of the day because Peterbot now has the chance to ruin Lacey's tournament and Clicks' tournament and basically in the same throw as well.
You just know that Pete's facial expression would just be, he'd be beaming. He'd be cheesing so hard to know that he would be the one to potentially stop Clicks and Lacey in their tracks from having this celebratory instance of winning the Fortnite Pro Am Creator Series. But I do want to give Lacey his flowers in comparison to last year.
I'm trying to find out who's
first. He went a little bit too ham
because that's
on the
where he's going. I know
overnight
it.
leading into the competition. He's done a great job of staying dialed in for today.
Yep, just got to see him kind of, might see him in the FNCS Major 2 finals if he can make it through the
first.
Over the place. It is going to be musical.
Lacey and Clicks, I didn't even notice it. I
at their
didn't look.
established drop. At least, I don't think.
Wow.
I know they were kind of like a last-second addition coming in, but you look at Ritual. One of the better IGLs, and he can fight at the same time. Nina,
I don't have to worry about it because I'm not first.
So she has
now my boy,
so the nerves might not necessarily there. So I want to see them, even though the chances of winning aren't necessarily there. Maybe make a push for that top 10, start to get a little bit more prize money.
They were just throwing a little bit more of a spade.
I think Peter already chalked it up to like.
So last minute.
Faxity ain't gonna help. I'm not gonna win this shit.
In advance,
might as well get as much as I can.
And it has definitely worked against them. But at the same time, they still made the best of the situation just because of the fact that, hey, knowing that we're going to be contested no matter where we go, let's just have some fun with it. And they've definitely done that much.
Yep. Now that everybody at home, maybe the people watching here in the venue, let me know. Start to tweet at me. Tweet at Fortnite. Tweet at the player. Who do you guys think is going to win the overall tournament here, especially with a leaderboard this close? I kind of want to see like maybe just everybody just land in the center map. All 40 teams, Chisel Cube, just end the game there.
But could you imagine how much fun socials would be if Clicks and Lacey actually get the job done, bring it home, overcome everyone that was doubting? And you have to remember, like, Clicks, he's used to being doubted. He's been doubted his entire career, and he still just takes it in stride and is just doing the best that he can in today's competition to find that overall victory with Lacey.
Yeah, honestly, just looking through, already my predictions were kind of thrown into a mix. I know I started off thinking Peterbot and Faxity were going to win the entire thing, but as I started to hear, Peterbot himself talk, I'm like, I'm not going to take it as serious. And then coming into this one, Faxity's like, yeah, maybe he's not. So he kind of threw that out the window. And then I was looking at teams like Reet and Fran who are making a second half surgence to the top of the leaderboard. I put Victor V and Crackley in my top 5. I even had Muzz and Somerset there. But most of my predictions got thrown out the window early on in the first half.
No real surprises there. I do think that Victor V and Crackley was probably one of the main ones that I'm surprised it took them as long as it did to actually start breaking through into that like top 3 position. I think a lot of people would have had them in that kind of like top 5 area, but it's been crazy to just realize the fact that with this reloads environment, and I think with a lot of the content creators involved too, it's been so awesome seeing these content creators kind of step this far outside of their comfort zone, because Jinxie did a great job of highlighting it. Fortnite is without a doubt one of the most mechanically demanding games, and to be thrown into this level of competition, I think that I can definitely appreciate the way that all of our content creators have just done such a fantastic job at not only having their fun with it, finding their clip farm where they can, but I think they've all made a great effort here today to try and showcase what they're capable of.
Yeah, honestly, I think they're all kind of like taking it in stride. Even, we were talking about Primate Page and the Bolts situation where Bolts is kind of stuck. Do I play with my teammate? Do I not? And basically saying, hey, do you want money or do you want to stay alive in some of these end games, right? And I think Bolts is making the right decision for them as a team. But on that other side, though, Primate Page, she kind of understood her role in a lot of this situation. And honestly, her being left out the way she is, she's actually staying alive in certain situations long enough to potentially, we obviously haven't seen every instance, but give Bolts just a little bit more loot. I talked about you could spawn back with minis, potentially some chug jugs as well. And so that's extra heals you give a player like Bolts, where you give them an inch, they stretch it to a mile.
Easily, and I think that's always going to be a threatening component too, because you never know when something like Bolts is actually just going to be the one to play spoiler to some of those duos that are leading inside of the top 3, top 5 position right now, and
or vice versa. I need
to give opportunity.
Sometimes I need to give somebody else the edge to go to mile, but I can never.
We already know that all of these teams.
I'd rather trust myself than everybody else.
In that pressure environment, just trying to bring the whole thing home, but it's just
if I fail, then
tough.
fucking I get to only be mad at myself.
Watching this at home, right? It's almost a whole different like feel than actually playing in a tournament like this. Because I know myself when I'm watching, when I'm casting games like this, I'm like, I can compete in this. Like, I know Cole didn't show up, but give me Cole as a teammate. I feel like we can get the job done. But then actually playing in an environment like this, accidentally going down early, tagged out of the sky, getting put into blender. So it's like you almost start to like really doubt, like, man, why am I here? Why am I playing in this? And you start to think like, Cole, just go by yourself. And that's why maybe you're trying to see a lot of the confidence, though. Kanata in the first half of the day was doing exactly that. He knew when to cut his losses for Arky, even though we have seen instances of him trying to keep Arky in the game. There comes a point in time where you are better off as a solo because you don't have to worry about expending materials to try to keep them alive, tossing over the minis and the big pots and the medkits that you can use to stay alive just that much longer. Squeak out a couple extra placement points.
Never know, but one thing's for sure. A little bit of trouble afoot right now for Clicks. Might have just been getting tagged along the way of that bus path. A little bit revealing here, but he's being hunted right now by Cooper.
Cooper winning that last game, clutching it up. Already starting to get a little bit aggressive early. Veno and Rondo see that they kind of split up just a little bit at their exact drop. Going back to what is familiar with Scott of that first place spot at one point or another. They obviously lost it, but now they're just going back to what was working at the start of the tournament.
One of my favorite duos, even though they haven't necessarily had the camera time on main broadcast for
I couldn't stream this on TikTok because
unfortunately eliminated, I believe.
They asked
I do believe that they are our missing duo currently.
To stream on all 3 at the same time, I got to do it through Streamlabs.
We're a little bit compromised, but I have loved seeing
it says I need permission, and I asked for permission. It said it was revoked or not approved.
Here in today's competition with Space.
So I have to keep
honestly,
applying
the way they've been kind
for
of
it.
like playing together, talking and having fun, both in and outside of the game, you would feel like they know each other already.
Right?
The first timers here, as Veno just trying to stop the aggression from working out against him. That's Peterbot, but Peterbot, if he wants to win,
told you, that's where Peterbot is.
Going to take a ton of elimination.
Right on Clicks, bro. He's about to go in there.
He needs to take down second place, third place, and probably fourth place as well.
But when there's 3 separate duos to contend with and a 4th being added to the mix, this is where the trouble really starts to build up here. It's Booga.
Booga.
Better end of the exchange right now. Lacey never had a chance to see it.
They're all creeping on Clicks and Lacey. This is funny.
Surprising to see Booga.
They're trying to shut down the champs
hunting
right
down
here.
Lacey.
They do not want them to win.
Though, just because the zone hasn't overtaken Clix' position just yet, so Lacey will respawn directly above him, which is a giveaway for Lacey himself. But he's going on a rampage right now, just taking out Cooper next. Luckily, Kanata didn't show his face because he would have been next on that list.
We are witnessing the Bugha Revenge Tour right now. I don't know if Kanata was able to apply a little bit of pressure there too, but 2 eliminations already for Bugha. He's not content with where him and Yugi currently sit, but they're not in last.
He's going up there.
And I know for
Yugi's
a
on the
fact
other
that
side
both
of him.
Were very much trying to
Gotta
avoid
go up there.
that type of leaderboard position, but the way that Bugha's playing
Yeah,
right now, they might be able to change things entirely, maybe even break into the first page.
Pros
Yeah,
playing
at
with
the
Slim.
very minimum, you
Skin.
start to line your pockets. There's a little bit more of that prize money. Again, you get a victory royale. It's an instant $1,000
see,
without
a little
even having
harder
to
hit
look
when
at
they're
the
moving.
leaderboard. Second place, 500, and then 200
Harder to
after that.
track,
Just
bro.
placing top 3 in these games earns you a
can see
little
them a lot
bit
better
for your
when they're
efforts. Bugha's slowing down just a little bit, getting close by to where Kanata's at. You see Arky respawning in, not sure where Fran is at over at the top of that mountain, but Reed spawning in as well. And this has given Veno a bird's eye view, basically options about how he wants to approach this situation.
Super cool gamer
I know,
rapid
might
over
have had
there.
his
Just
wings
jumped on
put there.
Higgs.
Seemed like he was very intent on getting involved with where Bugha and Kanata were
Queasy
at,
is
but
getting done in
little
right
warning
now, bro.
shots, just enough of his HP chipped away for him to recognize. I don't want to get caught out here. Cooper and Zemi, though, this is a very precarious position, one that we're not used to seeing Coop in, but he'll at least have the chance pop that big punt, restore a little bit of his shield.
Richard
Doesn't
would just
look
kill
like he's being
fucking
chased
tags.
all the way through.
Yeah, he was basically waiting for him because you can't build and protect yourself. You're just kind of hopping out of that teleporter, and he's just waiting for on the other side. And I think they got the memo not to chase, not to leave yourself vulnerable here. As Guapo moves in, a little bit too close to comfort for Victor V, and Crackley has been on a terror here in the second half of the day. Already 3 eliminations, and it makes me wonder if they have some sort of like signal that they know somebody's here. Maybe not exactly where A2 Guapo's at, but they know somebody's lurking around.
Just don't want to fall back into old habits. Veno, nice elimination claim there onto
Destroyed
Kanata.
That's
4
fucking
already
insane.
for Veno and Ron. This is a big step up. And kind of to elaborate a little bit more on Victor V, we know Victor V and Crackley can get eliminations, but
Peter
in
Bot
the
just dropped
final
Hammy.
lobby of the day, you don't want to find yourself tunnel visioning. If you lose
That
sight
Guapo dude's
of
been getting
placement
shit
points,
on too.
that's
Oh my
where
goodness.
a lot of the leaderboard disparity is going to be shaping up. So they cannot afford any early spillage. I love that they're still being aggressive. I love that they're still betting on themselves and what they're capable of, but just got to be careful.
Yeah, especially since there's not necessarily a massive need to get a high number of eliminations here. Just need to outplace Clicks and maybe sprinkle some on
Koyo
top
can
with the
get
way
Fran
Clicks and
right
Lacey
now.
have been playing as well. We talk about the second half resurgence for them. It's almost been the entire
Hammy
of
killed
the
Hammy?
day. They've been
Hammy
consistent.
killed herself?
Buzz and Somerset trying to get right
Or
back
himself?
on track. They
I don't know
started
if
the
that's a
day
dude or a
off. They
girl.
even,
I don't know who
I
the
think
fuck
at one
that
point or another, if I remember correctly, shared a portion of first place on that leaderboard. Just since then, just a little bit of a slip up that they hope to catch back on track here in Game 7.
Let's kill Guapo.
Lacey's at least got
Dude,
the kids to work with right now. It's Victor V, Crackley, fully aware of what's right in front of them. Crackley trying to see if he can take out Peter Bot, but he, in the way that he's moving, all he really needs to do is just delay. The longer that Victor V and Crackley are kind of stuck out at Chisel Cube, they probably don't mind it too heavily, but if he can continue chipping away at their HP, even finding the elimination, that would just
Bitch,
such
get
a
shit on,
huge
pussy!
pause
in their momentum.
Yeah, I was wondering right now, Crackley.
You too, boy!
Like a sliver of HP for so
Better
long.
fucking
He finally
respect-
ends that up.
Yo.
Instantly gives the shield to Peter Bot. Peter Bot knows exactly who's fighting.
Yo.
Saw the name in the feed. Crackley needs to
God.
stay alive a little
Get him,
bit
P.
longer. He has the
Get
HP
him,
to
P.
do it, but can he survive this pressure? Yes, he does. Gets Victor V back into the game, but now he has to survive the onslaught from Peter Bot, stopping him. from
Oh
getting
my
the
God, shit on
elimination.
Peter.
And Crackley looking like the pro of the team right there, taking down
He's just
Peter
shit
Bot.
on Peter,
I
bro.
mean, you want to talk about
Oh
locking
my
in and
goodness.
clutching up. Crackley just did everything possible in that instant, but he still
Oh my
got to
God.
keep it moving because they are being attacked by yet another team, or at least another player, and it's Rapid who's going to
Rapid.
start or finish what Peter Bot had
Typical
started there up
gamer.
against the likes of Victor V, just taking advantage of the reboot farm for Veno and Ron. A little bit of a standstill inside of zone. Not sure they need to shake things up all that crazily.
Peterbot and
Not
Rapid
just
is
yet,
going
at
at
least.
it.
Just need to keep it within reach, depending on where
The
they kind
Rapid
of
just
land.
killed him.
Reboots turn off.
Look
They
at
try
her
to
fuck.
assess the
He's
situation.
chasing him
with
down
Peterbot
with no,
trying to
he
go
got
right
no
back down
weapons.
over
Peter,
towards
why are you
Chisel
dropping
Q.
on them?
It is going to be in the zone, but needs a ton of time for it to open up. So a lot of these guys just need to survive up until then. As Veno continues to go on the offensive, he does have the hand cannon. He's trying to put it to use. Already connected with a few shots so far. Cut read off down low and lands another shot. His 5th elimination of the game. We're seeing it both out of Victor V and Veno. If they want first place, they have to take it by force.
And they might just be able to do so because Veno and Ron with 5 eliminations already, Jacob, and a fairly well-established position to kind of cut teams off that are going to be a little bit later to the party. The Stragglers trying to make their way in from the storm into that edge of zone. They are in that compromised position for everybody else because no one can get past them. They are the wall that sits between the next zone and these teams that are going through the constant reboot cycle.
I like this. Yeah, honestly, I like this load. I'm okay with a sniper SMG type loadout for Jinxie, but I'm not okay with whatever's going on here. As soon as Jinxie probably will feel a little bit comfortable. In comes Pete, trying to outrun Rapid, who has typical gamer by his side. They find Pete, so no more running for you. They get the elimination, but they want just a little bit more. Now moving in along with Ron, trying to put the pressure down on the typical gamer. Third partying this to catch him off guard. He'll find a whole other team in the bush. 4 teams here as of now. Looks like a 5th one, maybe a solo floating right overhead.
So a little bit too much of the danger zone. Veno realizing it's just not worth risking it all for an extra elimination or 2. In fact, he might be able to find it regardless on Hammy, who's just nowhere left to run, no escape whatsoever. We'll see you on the next reboot.
Why is his body got like a storm
man on a
thing
mission
him?
right now. Ron,
he got storm sickness?
Right behind him. They are doing a great job at just staying toe-to-toe with each other.
We got Plugo on this side of the map, Reeton frantic, just far outside of the zone. But as it does reveal itself in this next one, 6 zone, one before reboots turn off. It's a little bit of a pull towards the south. Not max pull for either of these teams on the map so far, but definitely not going to be easy, especially if you try to shockwave past a team like Veno and Ron, who haven't really been missing much with that hand cannon.
Jinxie, tough spot to be in. A lot of trust on Poyo right now to close things out, but just being aggressed from 2 different angles. Muzz and Somerset are just such a dynamic duo when they take these kinds of approaches. It's just so difficult to actually
Alright, the whole lobby shooting at them. You guys are weird, bro. Nah, y'all are weird. That was weird as hell. Y'all are weird as fuck for that.
End of the line here.
Look, looks like Peterbot Victor, I mean fucking Fax is out right here.
Reference here is Victor
There goes
V
Fax.
taking out Faxity. But Pete's nowhere in sight. Just have to expect that he's off elsewhere doing his own.
No, Peterbot was just there. He jumped out.
Victor V
fucking dumbass bitch. Pay attention.
Down to try to get
she said you gotta imagine he's somewhere else. He literally jumped out as soon as Fax got popped, bro. He took a mini and bounced. I seen it.
Literally almost was Peterbot and Faxity versus Victor V and Crackley before they ended that first run. Peterbot staying alive more than long enough for Faxity to get back into the game, but they need more than just being in the game. They need a figure out way to get Faxity enough of a loadout that they can actually start to put in some work. As Veno just trying to go ahead and disengage. Ron is actually went down, but luckily for Ron though, there's still 15 seconds on reboots available, so he's not out of the game just yet.
Sure, but how much does Veno actually have to work with here? This might be one of the worst times to be eliminated because
everyone got the storm on their body.
Be waiting
it's weird.
to try and prevent you from landing, get that final elimination
Reboots
done
over with.
and
Now
dusted,
people are gonna
because
go crazy.
that's just going to put Veno into a fully solo position. And when first place is up for grabs, it's just such
Faxity killed himself.
Heartbreaking way to go out.
Bro, this dude's a fucking idiot.
Fax
no,
fighting
honestly.
his own battles.
That's what I'm saying. He's honestly a dickhead, bro.
Trying to get any kind of footing.
Yeah, this could potentially be such a close tournament. Because even though Clix and Lacey have a little bit of a lead, they're not getting eliminations. So if Veno, Ron, Crackley, Victor V get enough eliminations in placement, that alone can put them just higher up on the leaderboard. His typical gamer trying to run, doesn't get the exit he was wanting, ends up in the wrong box. That's going to give Ron exactly what he needs. A full loadout as he respawns back into the game. Veno making the right moves at the right time.
That is a tough break, though, for Rapid. You saw him immediately start to backpedal. He realized that there was nothing left to do. Watched his duo just disappear in front of his eyes, but great heads-up awareness there from Veno. They didn't have the luxury of picking and choosing who they fought. They just had to jump into somebody's box and get that refresh. But Victor V, a big shutdown here now. Peterbot
and Boogo just dropped Peter.
Answering back. Victor V has always been kind of looming over his head as is this kid the counter to Peterbot's success, but now correctly, he might actually be able to save his duo.
They're still up above. They will get the audio visuals, but Craftley needs to hold. You can hold and get the rebound at the same time, and that's exactly where he's going to find a little bit of success. This could be the play right there. Peterbot gets the knock onto Victor V, but does not get the finish, allowing for Crackley to get the revive, but still in first place is this team right here, right now. Clix and Lacey.
And
again, only one elimination, Taco. They are getting that gap closed by everybody else on the leaderboard.
I can't stress it enough, though. The way that this is really starting to build in terms of stress environment, but not only that, Crackley has come up big time in two separate instances in this final lobby. It almost feels like the plot armor is starting to build for them, but they still have a long ways to go. It is a fully uphill battle. Cooper and Zemi, another duo constantly trying to see if they can achieve another lobby of success. Double-digit eliminations, Victor Royale, Ron, Veno, similar environment, 9 eliminations, 8 of them on Veno, and he got the revive off onto Ron. So everyone just trying to pull out all the stops to put themselves in the best possible position.
Yeah, look at this.
Grappler.
Looking at high
Did he not pick
now,
up the
so far
grappler?
back
What
deep
the
into the
fuck
zone.
is
Not
he
sure if it's
doing?
connected with the zone catching up. They have to make that conscientious decision. Abandon that play, hope for another. Clix and Lacey right up above Veno. I'm not sure if he got the signal if that's who it is, but right now they're going to put pressure on the Rise, but it gets slowed down. Muzz and Somerset put pressure right back onto Veno and to Ron, cracking the shield to Ron, forcing them to slow down.
You can just see Ron kind of spinning in a circle there for a moment. It's just so hard to keep tabs when you're getting all these different audio cues, and Rapid has been found in the backside of zone. That's going to be the end of the line for MNTG in this one. But a big placement point right now. Ron is fighting to see whether or not he can roll into Veno's box with Veno. He's going to abandon ship. He can't afford to stay behind. Put some great pressure on Cooper from overhead, but he just left Ron to the wolves.
Clix and Lacey are in first. They are in first right now. Veno going to be by himself. 8 eliminations, has to look for more, has to figure out a way to outplace Lacey and Clix as well, who are holding on. They really have not been tested in this game so far. A lot of the competition let them go smoothly under the radar, but up above, Cooper and Zemi, they're the ones putting pressure down, trying to disrupt the whole flow that is going down below.
And Veno's only form of ability might have just been saved. Muzz, if he can get that siphon, if he can get the last shot to connect, all he needs is a little bit of wiggle room, and he's managed to manifest it out of seemingly nowhere. And yet again, that last little bit of overdrive grenade is going to catapult him forward, front side of zone. Lacey, Clix, feeling the pressure right now from Cooper and Zemi. Veno secretly hoping that somebody else gets the job done for him, handles his dirty work of clearing out our leading duo team.
You still have Victor V and Crackley alive down below on the low ground, and they have much more eliminations than Clix and Lacey.
I feel like anyone can win it right here, bro.
Similar. Do they have enough eliminations to close the gap? Meanwhile,
Victor's still in it too.
Running out fast. He
runs
into
still in it.
Look!
Lands
a huge shot before finally going down. Victor V is surviving on a prayer.
But Crackley might be able to pick up some of the slack that's been unfolding underneath. Cooper and Zemi still doing what they can. Coop now getting very much more involved, but Crackley and Victor V, Vic, he needs a siphon. They have to connect with their next shot. He has to get some form of white HP kickstarting any second now. Otherwise, Cooper and Zemi, they might just be able to take this one.
And there's a few teams stomping around up above where they're actually at. But Cooper, see them up above, not wanting to drop down. Too big of a risk, too soon. See the zone not closing just yet. 2 more to go before that one becomes a possibility. And that's where you see Victor being Crackly lurking around, hiding as much of the audio visuals as possible. But eventually that's going to come to a test. As Curve is on the other side of that wall. Victor B goes down again as Crackly starts to feel the pressure. Clicks and Lacey are starting to get busy. Down on the Muda. That one gets cleaned up. Crackly still fighting tooth and nail as he lands a big shot on the curve before eventually going down.
It's just not enough, but for Clicks and Lacey, this was everything. Already in a top 3 position, 3 eliminations. If they're able to solidify these next couple of elims, I think they've already
because Zemi and Coop's the only one that can take their spot, and they're still alive. So you have to take it from them.
Close enough. I think they're just falling short in terms of elimination points overall. But
that's what I'm saying. But if they get all of these eliminations and the wins, Zemi and fucking
you got the 3 that you're talking about, looking up, exchanging shots back and forth with Cooper and Zemi. But there's still a solo running around. That's Curve.
He hit it.
I might have spoke
Took out Curve.
So Curve goes out like a light. 2v2 situation here. Clicks and Lacey potentially. The tournament on the line against
First and
Cooper
second right here.
Zemi, one of the favorites coming in. It all boils down to this moment right here and now as Cooper Zemi cut off the path.
Oh my God, Lacey down.
Leaving Clicks by himself, swimming like a fish out of water. No,
oh my God, Zemi's down.
Oh my God, Clicks! He lands the first shot on the Zemi. The builds are there. Can he do it?
Woo.
No, he gets cut short. Cooper ends a magnificent run for Clicks and Lacey to take Game 7.
But what a run at the very end of it. Clicks and Lacey really gave Cooper and Zemi a run for their money. 8 eliminations in total, though, for Cooper and Zemi. We saw the slightest margin being brought to light, and whether or not that was actually going to be enough, Clicks and Lacey, Cooper and Zemi, the fact that they were able to repeat with the back-to-back victory royales in lobby 6 and 7
Vic's dad's over there.
Vic's dad's accomplishment. You really got to give them credit where credit is due. But for right here, right now, Jacob, we know that Cooper and Zemi won Game 7, but did they win this Pro-Am Creator Series?
That's what I'm trying to wonder. Like, what was the point deficit going in? How many eliminations did Crackly and Victory actually end up with versus the point differential that Clicks and Lacey were able to get as they close out with another top placing here in this tournament? But 7 games, Taco, intense action. Honestly, I thought Veno and Ron were going to begin to run away with it, but Lacey, Click, Victor V, Crackly, these guys, even Kanata by himself, putting on a show.
Veno and Ron just started to have the whole lobby work against them, and they weren't the only ones. They knew that the moment that they got those back-to-back victory royales, that they had put a bullseye right on both of their foreheads, and everybody was on the hunt to make sure that they hit it dark center for both of them. Unfortunate outcome, but still, they can't feel that bad about it. They're definitely going to be in the threshold of some solid prizing. And not only that, but they netted an extra 2K on top of their winnings here today just from getting those back-to-back victory royales.
Yeah, much and well deserved as well. A lot of people, thought they were one of the favorites coming in, and rightfully so. They showed up, showed out, but sometimes, man, just those eliminations from Veno at the end really just kind of putting it all on the test. And we really saw kind of 2 different styles of play in one tournament. You saw a lot of our teams, especially the ones at the top of the leaderboard, they stick together. Usually you send one out to get those eliminations, but they actually stuck together at a certain point in the game and made sure that they did not get separated through and through. Even Crackly having some insane clutches in this game alone, let alone the entire tournament.
Nah, Crackly was definitely turning it up all the way. Volume just through the roof with his gameplay in Game 7 here. We know that he is definitely a strong caliber competitor, but it's more so the fact that he's also able to bring it to light in a LAN environment. I think that Crackly has definitely proven that just because Zero Builds might be his priority playground, that doesn't mean that he can't hang in a builds environment.
Yeah, that play right there. Lacey just trying to break out. There's no builds. He gets knocked. Clicks kind of like stuck by himself underneath. A huge shot right there on the Zemi, but it almost makes me wonder. I know the zone is still closing, but like maybe you could have played a little bit longer, go for med kits, but I want to say, was it storm sickness? Cooper didn't even look like he was looking at him at the end.
They're first and ready. It seems like that was the issue, though, just that extra time that they said. We don't often see it where Storm Sickness becomes a threat, but sometimes players aren't really left with too many other options. They're kind of forced to play from inside of the Storm, and I think for Clix and Lacey, a big part of that is probably credited to the fact that they knew if they were playing inside center zone or anything like that, people were just going to be hunting them nonstop.
Yep, but we have ideas of who we think won this year's FNCS Pro, but we're going to throw it to Levin to let us know who is walking home the 2026 champion.
What a day it's been. 7 games, and finally we can crown our champions. Everybody, give it up for your Pro Am Creator Series Dallas champions, Clix and Lacey!
They said they was gonna win it. They said that shit.
Boys, I mean, we have to talk. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to hop for a second, brother. You got this, you got this. Clix, we have been waiting so many years to see you lift the trophy here on the LAN. How does it feel right now?
Man, even though it's an FNCS Pro Am, it still feels really good. It does feel good. Shout out to my teammate Lacey. He played really good.
He did. He played incredible. Last year at the FNCS Pro Am, a lot of people expecting you guys to get the job done, and you couldn't do it there. You did it here today, though, Lacey.
We did it! We did it, man.
Clix, it's emotional, man. It's emotional. He's worked hard for this. He's worked hard for this. You already bigged him up and talked about how well he's played, man. But, I mean, he's been on quite the journey as far as what he's done with his Fortnite career, streaming career, and how you played a part of that, man. Seeing him here lifting this trophy with you, what's going through your head right now?
What's going through my head right now is you are officially, my friend, a Tier 1 professional. A lot of people make jokes about it, but he just lifted a trophy before anybody else. But honestly, dude, I'm really happy. This is sick.
Aussie.
Next one's gonna be at Globals, though.
That's the next one. Hey, look, Clix. Look, I'm gonna say it, because I know there's some people watching thinking it. You've been playing with a bunch of different people, switching up your teammates all over, trying to find the right solution. You just said he's a Tier 1 pro. It's the solution right in front of you.
It is.
Come on.
Me and you, FNCS, let's
Come
run
on.
it.
I already got to do it, I'm not gonna lie. Next Pro Am, though. Next Pro Am, I'm locked. Pro Am, he is my Pro Am duo, locked in, guaranteed.
All right, Lacey. Of course, everyone's watching right now. Do you have anything to say to your fans, the people who have supported you on this journey here to lifting this trophy?
Thank you guys for all the continued support. This is my dream. It's my dream right here, lifting up this trophy. And everybody said that I wasn't a pro. Everybody said Clix wasn't going to win. They said we were.
He's real life prime because he started streaming playing
Look
Fortnite.
who's standing here now.
The champs. Clix, same thing to you. Is there anything you want to say to the people?
Now he's got a
out there?
trophy for playing Fortnite. Come on.
I've been failing for 8 years.
Anyone earning.
Every single time.
It's hard to get
I've gotten
earned.
back up. Now we're sitting here with my best friend holding a FNCS Pro Am champion trophy, dude. You see it too, Levon, right? FNCS Fortnite Pro Am champion. This is sexy. This is a sexy trophy right here.
Hey, you guys have streamed together. You've started a business together. Now you win together. One more time, people, make some noise for Clix and Lacey!
Oh yeah.
Absolute legends.
Don't scream like there's nobody there.
Big shout out to Epic Games. Thank you to Dignitas as well. Dignitas, big shout out to them. Big shout out to the University of Dallas, UTD Dallas, for allowing us to be here today. To all the beautiful fans that showed up and were on the lawn supporting. To all the amazing people involved in making this show happen. We thank you so much. These guys are our well-deserved champions, and a big shout out to all the other players and creators today. We will see you guys all for the next Pro Am Creator Series. Yeah?
Man, fuck the other.
All right, man.
You can't cuss on here. Fortnite don't want. He said, man, fuck it. He said, all right. They did that shit though. I wanted to see the leaderboard though. Catch on the flip side.